everyone, I'm Heather and welcome back to my channel. So we are back today with I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. In the last one, Sim presumably died and we are getting closer to the end of the story. We also discovered that the gardeners were spying on us. And we accessed, I guess, their big AI thing and got kicked out. So we had a lot of stuff going on. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we were out here, but I don't think we're going to stay because I think we got as much as we could. Utopia wasn't out here. There is this. Oh no, that's not a thing. Let's go get that thing there. I mean, there's this, and that might give us something, but there's this thing over here. I don't know how we get to it. We'll try our best. Okay, that is not it. Oh, there it is. There she is. We're trying to get this. She has something to say. Let's go get these items. Utopia sent a team of geologists to get a closer look at this region's weird terrain. You come across them working, and Utopia beckons you over. Heather, she says, drawing everyone's attention to you. Heather, come here. Everyone, Heather's been working in this area a while, and I'm sure she's got plenty of information on what's out here. The geologists politely turn towards you and listen. Here's what we've got so far, Utopia says, speaking directly to you. Judging from how the layers of sedimentation are broken up, this place used to be pretty flat, for there must have been a ton of earthquake activity, ripping up the land and bringing up these huge ridges. We can date the quakes around the time a lot of these ruins were created, she adds. And we're looking, but we haven't seen anything built after them. Like that was it for the old convergent domain. These broken up layers are the same across the planet. Something sure happened about 20,000 years ago. Let's help them work. You set up a drone hive to measure the sediment layers along the cliffside and learn a few things about rocks. Okay. Extra gear slot. Well, that will be nice, but I assume that means that we're going to need said extra gear slot. That one might be good. I guess we'll add that in right now. I'm not sure what the plus whatever does for us to each, like, skill. That one might be good, though. But it would be not as frequent. Like, that would always give me 2. But maybe instead of the hop eye, that one's better. Okay. Well, that's what we were looking for. It's not really something that was storyline related. So I guess let's get back. I would like to find the mush trees, because those just give me plus points. And we could do that. We'll come back later, because it doesn't seem to be story related, so I don't think we need it to, like, progress along. So let's go ahead and go back. Let's go home. Yes. I got +4 in engineering, so we're maxed in engineering now. Governor Lum enters the colony square to his customary bombastic fanfare. Brass band, red carpet, banners with the Heliopause logo snapping in the hot dust breeze. It's a bit much. The governor gets his usual tithe of applause from die-hard soldiers, but it's obvious how tired and fearful everyone has become in service to his war. You catch Mars's attention and she rolls her eyes and makes a gagging motion. Cal looks sullen and withdrawn, refusing, along with the rest of Geoponics, to give Lum any applause. The governor raises his hands for silence, though it's largely unnecessary. Pioneers of Vertumnalia, he begins. We stand here today not shivering and quaking in fear, but with our hands around the neck, he makes a ringing gesture, of the planet herself. Before he can continue, Mars leaps from her seat and runs to the front of the stage. A ripple of fear goes through the crowd. You all remember what happened to Utopia last year. It doesn't have to be like this, she cries, speaking to the crowd. We don't have to listen to him. He's just a bully with a gun, like the ones we left behind on Earth. Oh, let's watch in horror. She turns to the council. Why are you just sitting there? Come on, aren't you going to do anything? The council looks at each other. Rhett seems unmoved, and Utopia shrinks into herself, holding her hand to her chest. Aunt Anne looks concerned but fearful of Lum. Instance is grim, and Seek just waits to see what happens. Only Cal looks enthusiastic, but as the youngest member on the council, he's outmatched. Lum gestures sharply to his guards, and Mars is seized and taken out of sight. In the uncomfortable silence that follows, the governor strides to the front of the stage and looks down on the crowd. As I was saying, you can trust me to lead this colony and humanity into a new era, he says. An era of peace and prosperity, where we no longer need to fear the creatures that come out in the night. He raises his fist to the sky. This planet is rich, he cries. It is the Earth we promised, unscarred by the mistakes of our forefathers. Here we will become what humanity has always strived to become, caretakers of a new garden, children of a new Earth. People cheer, spurred on by Lum's display of dominance. Lum looks upon the crowd with pride. Pioneers, we are so close, he says. Soon this planet will be ours, and all her riches and wonders with it. But first, he continues, we need to adapt to the harsh realities of our current world. He gestures at the council. I know you all love your council, but it's time we thought about the future. We need to guard the colony leadership, he says with some disdain, against sudden upheavals, deaths, imprisonments, and the like. I've decided to instate a second position for each seat on the council, he announces. Lum explains that every council member will take an official second in command. Seconds will be trained in the running of the department and will be ready to take over the department should the worst happen during an attack. The council looks concerned. Is this how Lum begins to cycle out the colonial government with a veneer of legitimacy? Applicants must have spent a minimum amount of time in that department and will be judged by the council based on their relevant skills, though Lum will likely argue hard for his Helio appointees. You scribble your name on the ballot for, let's do surveyor. Utopia's a little guarded as you enter your name for consideration. Just so long as it's one of us and not one of Lum's lackeys, she says quietly. I can't trust one of them to have my back when I'm out in the wilderness. She shoots an acidic look at Red, who's looking chummy with the Helio soldiers. You win. You're second surveyor now. Utopia breathes a sigh of relief and gives you a hug. I'm happy it was you, sweet, she says. If something happens to me out there, I know the colony is going to be in mighty fine hands. Ooh, that's a good card. Which means if we're starting to get 10-point cards, we're going to be high numbers in those card battles. Okay, +2 on a win for strength. When the voting is concluded, Seek announces the names of those newly appointed seconds. The crowd cheers for you when Seek reads out your name as second surveyor. You don't recognize the Helio appointed to second administrator, must be one of Lum's people. Vase is appointed to second security officer under Rhett. He gives a little speech essentially congratulating himself and promising to single-handedly win this war. Tangent stands proudly in her rightful place at Chief Engineer Instance's side as her second. One of the Helioborn agriculturists is chosen as second cultivator. At least there's someone with actual geoponics experience, not someone Lums installed in the position. The steward of the heliopause joins Aunt Anne as her much-needed second steward. There's a lot of babies in the colony now, and someone has to take care of them. After the politicking is over, the crowd adjourns to the feast tables and eventually the dance floor. The sun sets on the long day and the heat breaks, and the party continues well into the night. After the festivities, it's straight back to work as usual. Everyone complains. You usually get at least a few days off after Vertumnalia, but Lum reminds the colony that it's only a few short months before the next attack. Your dreams begin to increase in intensity as the wormhole draws closer to the planet, filled with terrifying and confusing visions. A feeling of urgency dogs your steps, like you're running out of time. Okay, so it's mid-dust. Let's check around. Alright, hopefully we can find more mushwood logs. Because those are always nice. I mean, it's nice to be able to change the suit color. That way you get, like, bonuses. But sometimes you just need a couple points. Okay, nobody has anything going on. Oh, Dis does. Okay, let's talk to Dis. You spot Dis about to head out on expedition. He's carrying a full backpack with a second one at his feet full of surveying equipment. As you approach, you realize he's writing in a notebook, an actual notebook with paper and everything, braced on his knee with one foot on the equipment. He looks up as you approach and closes his notebook, slipping it into the jacket pocket over his heart. "Oh, hey, Heather," he says, and tucks the pen behind his ear. "Are you coming too? That's cool. Maybe we can be posted near each other." We could ask, but I don't think he'd like that. "What were you writing?" "Just stuff," Dis says dismissively. "I like writing on paper. It feels more real, you know. And it's more private than having everything on your hollow palm where people could find it." You beg him for more details. Dis huffs through his nose, but he looks amused. "Just stuff," he repeats. "How I'm feeling, what the weather's like, what people are doing around the colony. I like observing people." "Sometimes I pretend I'm an alien," he continues. "And I'm studying how people act so I can blend in." Do we want to do this? We've done this before. I guess let's do it. Do you ever write about me? Dis goes red and ducks his head. "Well, sure," he says. "You're part of the colony, right? And you're my friend, so of course I write about you." You're about to ask to see, but you're interrupted by Utopia calling for all hands to board the expedition vehicles. Dis stoops to pick up the surveying equipment, then he's gone without another word. He must not want you to know what he's writing about you. Curious. Okay, So, I mean, we could continue working on toughness. Something had reasoning, didn't it? I don't think it was in here, though. I guess we'll do this one, because that'll at least get up some of the ones that we already have. Something unexpected is waiting for you in self-defense class today. A fully grown manticore. When the shock wears off, you realize it's chained down so much that it can barely move at all. It's growling and chittering, maybe muffled by a muzzle, but it still makes your guts go liquid in some primal fear. You walk over to Nem and Vase, who are standing a safe distance away. Nem seems leery, but Vase is considering it with his usual bravado. We're supposed to observe it and figure out its weaknesses, Vase says, leaning in for a closer look. I don't know. It doesn't look so tough like this. It's just an animal. A dangerous animal, Nem adds. Be careful. If it breaks loose. Vase scoffs and reaches towards the manticore. Instead of attacking, the chained beast flinches away and gives a high-pitched whine, trying to get away from Vase. You notice that it's bleeding from a bunch of places on its hind end, pockmarked with burns and scrapes. You've never seen a manticore look so pathetic. I'd rather do this. Speak out against animal cruelty. You point out the manticore's wounds and how terrified it looks to be chained down like this. The security chief rolls his eyes and puppets his hand like yada yada yada. And what are we supposed to do, Heather, he says. Do you want to run into one of these beasts on your own with no experience? Am I supposed to send you out into the wilderness blind, unprepared? Well, we have fought one before, thank you very much. Rhett points at you. You should respect the work of the hunters who risked their lives to bring this specimen, he reprimands you. Because of them, you and your friends here are less likely to die out there. With Rhett, it always comes down to life or death. But you can't just use dying as a scare tactic to get what you want. You tell him that, but he just goes red in the face and tells everyone that class is dismissed because someone objected to his methods. Vase and Nem scowl at you as they leave the courtyard. Okay. Well, I have that 7 one locked, so I guess it's not terrible in that instance. All right. We'll add you. And then we can add you. Okay. Not bad. Alright, it's late dusk. Alright, anyone got anything to say? Oh, there's something. I'm not finding much mushwood log. I did kind of stop giving everyone presents. Let's check over this way. See what we want to maybe work on. Shoveling dirt, biology and toughness. I don't need any of the biology. I think I'm going to say no on that for right now. I'm going to go out, I think. We'll head into the valley. Maybe. Perception and animals. What's this one? Bravery. I'm looking for items, though. I don't need this at all. I guess we'll go here, because at least maybe we can get some animals. Oh, see, there's Nami. When you report for surveying duty, Nami is there. It's their first day as a surveyor. They smile widely when they see you, smiling exuberantly. Oh, you two know each other already, Utopia says, looking to you then Nami. That'll make this easier. Heather, I'd like you to keep an eye on Nami while you're out there, Utopia continues. I'm going to assign you to the same regions for the next little while. Just make sure they don't wander into a nest of snap bladders, okay? Yay, hooray. Nami cheers and gives you a high five. As Utopia explains to Nami and some other new Helio surveyors about the surveying tools, Nami starts to get bored and wanders a little ways from the group. You see it happening, but are powerless to stop them from tripping and nearly landing in a nest of hop-eye eggs. They're just about to crash into the delicate spun glass cocoon when Utopia materializes out of nowhere and scruffs them by the back of the collar. Nami, pay attention. Nami giggles, like they don't even realize the danger of being stampeded by the upset Hop-Eyes beginning to gather around. Utopia ushers them back to the group before things can get tramply. Nami asks a million questions about the eggs. Are they edible? Do they have hard shells or soft? What is the cocoon made out of? How long until they hatch? Utopia sighs. Just get out of here, you two, she says, before the cute little varmints turn ugly. Okay. I'm just trying to get items. And we can look and see, like, something like this. We haven't tried this, but it's a thing. Oh. You're surveying some weird algae bloom when it starts to get dark. You pack up for the day and begin to head back to the base when you see a cloud of Dorbs moths fluttering overhead. Them, the same villains that keep eating your crops. You decide to follow them. You creep silently after the Dorbs moths. They don't seem afraid of you or anything at all. The Dorbs moths eventually converge on a clearing where hundreds of them rest against stalks of the giant fungal trees. The sound of their wings rubbing against each other is like music. The entire clearing glimmers with dust. It's so pretty. You stand there and watch for a few minutes. Suddenly, the peace of the clearing is broken by squeaking and a chaos of flapping wings. The Dorbs moth all explode from their perches, sending clouds of choking dust into the air. Through the dust, you can see a Dorbs moth locked in a vicious battle with a small creature. It's all over so quickly, you watch the creature cling to the Dorbs moth's back as it flails around, until it climbs up and rips out the Dorbs moth's throat with its tiny vicious teeth. More squeaking fills the clearing. From the trees descend an entire family of the things, and they set upon the corpse of the Dorbs moth like it's a kingly buffet. They hop around and hiss at each other, popping up like popcorn. The sound is incredible, like the screeching of a chair across the floor. The rest of the Dorbs moths have completely vanished. The cries of these tiny hunters must have scared them off. How horrible. I don't like that. You whip open your holopalm and record their squeaking and chittering as they devour their meal. If you play this, it's bound to scare the Dorbs moths away from your field too. You don't think you would have believed it if you hadn't seen it with your own eyes. The little things, you decide you'll call them bounce weasels, are like 1/5 the size of the Dorbs moth. They're even more cute than the moths. You're pretty involved in recording the bounce weasels, so you don't notice another family of them moving into position over your head until it's too late. Like the Dorbs moth, you had the audacity to stand still for too long in their territory. You yelp as you're pelted by a hail of sharp-toothed creatures. Oh no. Okay. It's easy, though. Of course, they say easy is a goal of 69, but, you know. Oh, we've got a lot of stuff here, though. Okay, so let's do... And then I guess we'll do this... And then I guess we can do that one. Okay. And then, ooh, that one's 11. That was our new one. Yeah. But I'll add the 5 there because it'll do that. 5. Because I think I have a full other round, so we'll do that. Because we don't even need all those. That's fine. Because we got our super goal anyway. I assume the super goal gives us bonuses in the thing. I've never really paid attention to the super goal. You cover your head and neck, and the bounce weasels will bounce right off you. Some of them cling to your jacket, nipping little holes into it, but when they can't get their teeth into you, they bounce away into the forest, chittering in anger. You can't wait to show Cal the battle of cute versus cute. This planet is pretty cool. Plus, now you have an idea about how to keep the moths from stealing your crops. Okay. I forgot all about that, actually. There's mushwood. And there's some more mushwood down there, so we'll go get the mushwood. This is what I was looking for. Okay, Nami is down there, so we'll go check on her in a second. But we want our mushwood. I thought there was mushwood down here. Oh, there's something. Huh. Okay, let's check this first. There's a deep, perfectly circular pond here, filled with clear, crystalline water. Small, transparent creatures like jellyfish bob around in it, rippling with iridescence. Dis is with you, and in a characteristically bad mood, despite the jaw-dropping beauty of your surroundings. He plops grumpily down on the bluff to watch the water. Let's watch with him. You aren't watching for long when a tentacle reaches up and plucks one of the jellyfish from the swarm, dragging it down into the depths. Some massive xeno must live at the bottom of this pond. Fascinating. As you watch, it plucks two more. It seems to prefer the larger, older ones. Maybe it's like a farmer tending to this flock, or just a very sneaky predator. You take some notes, particularly that you should think twice about swimming in any of these ponds. Well, we're not going to go swimming. We could take a nap, but it might get us. Let's stay clear. You're too busy to watch a boring old pool, and you've been warned to stay away from the water anyway. Dis sighs and gets back up to follow you. Oh, I guess we should. Let's see. Okay. We'll take a nap. So relaxing, you take off your shoes and soak your feet in the water. You're dozing off until a tentacle grabs your ankle and pulls you into the pool. You flail your arms, fighting the gentle pull of the tentacle. Dis watches from the shoreline. You think he's frozen in shock, but when you call for help, he only frowns in thought. Dis, help! Dis moves closer to the pool. Panic doesn't help, he mutters. Calm down, just calm down, see? You stop flailing, and the tentacle stops pulling. See, it's not pulling you under, Dis says. It's just checking you out. After a while, the tentacle releases you and disappears into the depths. Dis helps fish you out of the deceptively deep pool and helps wring out your clothing. Thought I was going to die, stupid. You haven't calmed down from the whole almost dying thing, so you raise your voice. He stops packing and looks up at you furiously. You could have died, but only because you panicked. It wasn't even trying to hurt you, but if you drowned in there, it would have been my fault. Don't ever do that again. You realize he's upset because he cares about you, in his way. You mumble a thank you and grab a towel to dry off. Okay, keep exploring. That's not how things work, man. Okay. Let's grab this. I thought there was a mushwood log, but I guess I am not in that area. Okay. I guess that was just like, I don't know, like relationship progression a little bit. Let's go find Nami. You hear Nami shouting for help nearby. Let's run over there. You sprint to the sound of distress. Nami seems to have fallen headfirst into some kind of Nami-sized flower. Is it eating them? It engulfs Nami's upper torso, its petals pulsing as it pulls them down further. You could use your plas cutter to cut them out of there, if you can figure out what part of this creature to cut without hurting Nami. Nami is struggling, and you hear muffled sounds of distress from inside. You have to try. Okay. Okay, so they locked in a card. Okay, we'll do that. That'll turn it into a possible red card. Okay. Alright, so let's do this. That one. I guess we'll go ahead and add that. Okay, that just added it anyway. Alright, okay, we got super gold. That's fine. You delicately slice the lyre flower at the underside of the base of its flower, which you guess is the creature's neck. Up close, it actually looks more reptilian than plant-like. Just a little nick, and the creature coughs and convulses. Nami spills forth in a flood of digestive juices. Ew, 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 yuck, my outfit. Stupid flower. Nami stomps and shakes their fist at the flower, which lurches away on a fat snake-like body. You're too worn out and tired to continue. You have to go home. Okay. We only got 1 animals out of that. Alright, so I guess we're going to go ahead and end this episode here. In the next one, I guess we'll get closer to the end of the year. I don't remember how the seasons go exactly, but we should be coming up on Glow soon, because we've already been through Pollen, we went through Dust. We're now in Wet, so Glow should be soon. And I think that's going to kind of signal where it starts coming to an end. But yeah, that's going to be everything for this time, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!